Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew. I am Nick Leffew. I got Sam Jordan back here working on some scores from last night, whatever scores we actually have from last night. I feel like I was just here. But we last night, as if you were listening and or out and about around, you know that many games, high school football games in the area were not played, or at least not fully played, due to our deluge we had last night. And some were rescheduled for today, such as the game that we were supposed to do last night, Keon and I. However, that Saudi Daisy Red Bank game that was supposed to be played at 1, according to Stephen Hargis and Coach Chris Brown of the Red Bank Lions, that game is not going to be played today, and they are looking for a day to make that up. There are other games that are supposedly supposed to be played today. Brainerd and Howard will resume today at 1 p.m. They were in the first quarter, with Howard leading that game 6-0. Cleveland and Ray County will also resume today at 1 p.m. out in Cleveland. So if you're wanting to catch some high school football, there's a couple of games that are going to try to play today. As I said, Red Bank and Saudi Daisy, that is still to be announced. Marion County and Hickson, that game is also still to be announced for their postponement. That being said, Hickson got a really nice new turf. Well, it's not artificial turf, but grass turf field. So I'm sure they're not going to try to ruin that field. It's supposed to rain more today. So I would definitely expect that game to definitely not be played at all in the near future, especially with Marion having to travel as far as they did. There were some games that did get in. Obviously, the North Georgia games, most of those did get completed. There were some games that were called at halftime. With TSSAA rules, if you get to halftime, it is an official game. So unless the game is tied at halftime, usually they'll play, or they'll call it at that point, and whoever is leading at half will get that win. There were some that played late into the night. East Hamilton and Signal Mountain did get the rest of their game in, and I'm sure whoever was covering that game for the Chattanooga Times Free Press is not liking themselves this morning, as they are probably still asleep, because that game I don't believe ended till near 1 a.m. Out at East Hamilton High School. As I said, Sam's over there working diligently to get us updated scores and everything. Even the newspaper doesn't have all the scores because the games weren't finished. So I will hit on a few scores quickly. In North Georgia, Heritage did beat Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe 41-27. So LFO did lose that game at home. East Hamilton, as I said, the final score, East Hamilton did defeat Signal Mountain 15-6, and that ended at 12:25 a.m. So, my goodness, that's a late one. South Pittsburgh did defeat Sequatchie County 19-0. That one was probably, I believe it was 12-0 at halftime. I'm pretty sure both teams just were trying to run the football in the pouring down rain to end that game. Ooltewah did beat Tyner 21-7 with a game that was called after halftime as a forfeit. The field was unplayable. Then also Sell Creek was able to get their game in at Finley. They did defeat Sunbright 21-0. Silverdale Baptist did defeat Kings Academy 48-20. Whitwell beat Boyd Buchanan 51-6. And like I said, Brainerd Howard will resume today. They were at 6-0 in the first quarter. Farragut defeated Bradley Central 34-0. Polk County defeated Copper Basin 42-0. That was the one final we had when we left here at 10 o'clock last night. And McMinn County beat McMinn Central 39-0. Cleveland and Ray County, like I said, will resume today. It was 13-7. Cleveland had the lead there. Then the Georgia scores. Adairsville defeated Chattooga 21-20. Gordon Lee defeated Dade County 21-13. Haralson County defeated Gordon Central 35-7. In some Knoxville action, Maryville defeated Knox Catholic in that rivalry game. Knox Catholic was defeated 31-10. And then another one for like region play, William Blunt defeated Lenoir City 13-7. So there wasn't a whole lot that actually got finished last night, but the games did. There were some games that did get played and everything. Sam's finally joining me.
Yeah, it's you know, the one thing that I would say from all of this is let's have a redo. Just redo entire week one. Just add one more week to the high school football schedule, the first or second week in November, and just call it a day and, play it over. Because this week here, I've never seen anything like this in all the years that I've been involved with high school sports. It was crazy. I mean, I was even talking with Stephen Hargis last night on the air before you and Keon got back from Red Bank, and he can't remember in such a long time of how bad a week one has started out. I mean, usually you'll see this later in the season, typically, but in week one, and it's like, all the guys, our colleagues over at ESPN 105.1 and the other station that tries to talk about high school football. Yeah, it's like you really don't have a lot to know what to say because it's week one and you have nothing else to go on. And it was like, finally when you two got in here, it was like, thank you. Now I don't have to keep regurgitating and saying the same thing over and trying to add a little bit of commentary. I mean, I don't care how many years you got in this. It's like, it's difficult as can be.
It is. If you have nothing to go on, I mean, we could talk a little bit about Thursday night's games and we did, but I mean, even Thursday night, I told Stephen last night because Stephen was at Red Bank as well. And I told Stephen, I said, if I see you again and it's raining, one of us is going to have to leave. Because this is ridiculous. I mean, we got delayed ridiculously on Thursday. That thank the heavens they didn't try to play that game last night. We'd still probably be there.
But
play that game.
Mother Nature, I mean, will rule superior over any high school football game, and you don't want to take those chances either. I mean, when lightning, if you can see it, it's like, no, players need to be off the field. Do not need to take any chances. And it's just a game. And that's what people have to remember. It's just a game.
And then you even throw out the fact that the lightning and the rain and everything, those fields were not in great condition. I mean, as much as it rained, even if you go try to play when it stopped and the storms had passed, you're talking about fields that are in such bad condition, you're going to have injuries. The fields would be torn up for the entire year. I mean, they don't have enough time in between home games. Even if you have a road game in between, you don't have enough time to be able to repair the field. That, I mean, when we left Red Bank, it looked like a swimming pool. So, I mean, like I said last night, when they said they were going to try to play that game at 1, and I laughed, like, there's no way. And obviously now they're not playing it at 1.
Here's the one thing, and I've used this analogy before. I've been an athletic administrator. When you've got a set budget, as far as with trying to do upkeep of the fields and the facilities for sports, I hate saying this, but Hamilton County has got some of the worst athletic football fields that I have ever seen. And I realize we've got tons of schools that are here in the Tennessee Valley area. You go over to Georgia, and boy, I mean, it's like a total different, setting. Hamilton County schools, and I think the worst that I've seen so far is Chattanooga Central's.
Then you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, okay. And it's like, it's not the greatest facilities. They probably don't have a whole lot of budget because they're trying to keep everything lean and mean to run it, as a school, which is primary purpose. But still, it's kind of an embarrassment to a degree that there isn't a little bit more funds that are put into this because, they are generating revenue from these events. But, and then you got to think about the factors. If you're going to try to play this game on a Saturday, that means overtime for the maintenance staff to come in and try to fix the field as best as possible. You can't always get what you want, but we need to have a little bit more, green stuff, thrown in there to take a little bit more of an initiative to have a better drainage facility. If you're going to go the synthetic turf or, the mixture between grass and turf, it's not a high priority, and I understand.
I just think that the most important thing in a situation like this is, we talked about the fields and the conditions there. You got to think about these athletes too.
Oh, most definitely.
And you play on these fields in bad conditions. You've already got a soaked field, so you're already talking about opportunities for ankles and knees and everything. And I think Saudi Daisy and Red Bank made the right decision to not even try to play it today because that field's going to be, again, I wasn't at all these other places, but I'll tell you from what I saw at Red Bank, there's no way they were going to play that game today, especially with the fact that it's supposed to start raining again about 11 o'clock, noon. There ain't no way. You're not going to play that game today. That's not going to happen.
And I'm sure that if this becomes a playoff implication for either of these teams, they may need to play this game. They may have to play 2 games in the same week somewhere down the line. It's possible. You don't normally see that, but these are 2 very good quality teams, and Red Bank and Saudi Daisy, and it's possible. I mean, TSSAA, probably would have to say yay or nay to it, but they may end up saying, "Hey, you got to play it. It's going to impact on where you get seated in the playoffs."
My question is how do we not have a makeup week built in? That's my question. This
is a rare situation. I mean, like I said, in the 30 plus years that I've been doing high school sports, you very rarely have an instance like this. I can remember up in Pennsylvania, and I know people probably get tired of me and my Pennsylvania instances that I give, but we had a game that we had blowing rain, severe lightning. We actually had trees, big trees that came down near the football field, and people could not get out from the school parking lot to leave to go home. They were trying to evacuate the place, and lightning struck this tree and it went down, and they had to try to figure another way to get people out of there without ruining other people's property to get these hundreds of vehicles out of there. Then they tried to play it on Saturday, and much similar situation like what we have here today, rain, rain, rain. So they played it on a Sunday. Very rarely does a high school game get played on Sunday, but because of these 2 teams, they were perennially a playoff bound team. They ended up playing it Sunday afternoon. I've never, ever done a Sunday game before, but I did that year. That was about 3 or 4 years ago. And, the state association has to be involved in this, but it ultimately comes down to the coaching staff or the athletic directors of the 2 schools to say whether or not they're going to do it.
Well, like we said last night too, the good thing for most of these games that are postponed is that most of the schools are in town.
Yeah.
So making it up is not going to be that. If they have to do it, it's not going to be that big of a deal for travel purposes. I mean, Saudi Daisy and Red Bank are 15 minutes apart. So, that's not bad, but I think.
And that's even a driving 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, I said this a little bit last night too, and I just hate it. I hate it for the kids because you get up for week 1, you're so excited, you're out there, you've warmed up, you're ready to go, and then now you don't even play.
Yeah.
And for these coaches, now you got to get these guys ready to play whenever you play this game. Like, for instance, if they were going to play today, sorry, Daisy Red Bank, I'm going to keep using this one. If they were going to play today, you have to go get your kids ready to play again today. And I mean, that's tough. I mean, you're talking about 15 to 17-year-old kids. You got to get them up ready to play on a Saturday when they've been ready to play on a Friday. I mean, that's tough. And, now you're going to be able to maybe think about where you're going to be going into, going into the next few weeks. They're going to be able to figure out where they're going to make where they're going to make these games up, if they are.
Well, I mean,
I would hate to have to see these kids play 2 games in 1 week. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's ludicrous. Yes. You and I were talking about this off air. There's only a few schools here in our immediate area that have 9 games on their schedule. I believe Boyd Buchanan and Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken. And, typically you don't have a bye week in there for a high school football team. We were talking about, I think it was Ridgeland here several days ago. They play 3 weeks and then they're on a bye week, down in Georgia. So it's kind of funny in a way, but it's also smart. It's like, up in the Northeast, they build in 20 snow days, because we definitely got our snow up there, over 150 inches a year. And it's like, you just don't think about that down here in the South as far as having to have that bye week and, trying to make sure that you can get all your games in. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. While you were starting the show, I was trying to tabulate with some of the high school football standings in the different divisions. Division II Class AA and Division II Class AAA are about the only 2 conferences that are in our area, with maybe a little bit of an exception with 3A Region 3 and 6A Region 2, where most of their teams got their games in. The one disparaging thing, Silverdale Academy is the only team so far in Division II Class AA that got a win last night, where Boyd Buchanan, Chattanooga Christian, CAK, Notre Dame, and Knoxville Webb all got losses. Grace Christian Academy, which is usually a pretty good team out of the Knoxville area, we have not been able to find a report on whether or not they got to play or get suspended or delayed or whatever. Then also look at Division II Class AAA. Baylor, Brentwood Academy, Ensworth, and McCallie all got victories. Still trying to find out about Father Ryan and Montgomery Bell Academy, or MBA, and Pope John Paul II. But that seemed like it was the most winning division out of all the different, I think there's about 8 of them that are in our area, maybe 9 or 10. My math, I have to use my toes sometimes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Class 6A Region 2, kind of interesting. Maryville, McMinn County, Ottawa, and William Blount, or Blunt, were winners. Bradley Central, was the only one that got a loss, but Cleveland and Heritage still have to play their games today. And then Class 3A Region 3, that was a conference that really took it hard. Brainerd and Red Bank are the only 2 in that conference there that haven't played yet. But Loudon, McMinn Central, Signal Mountain, and Sweetwater, they all took losses last night. Some pretty wide spreads, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, they may had to play till like midnight or 1 o'clock maybe, but they tried to get it in if they could. But not all facilities are on equal footing or equal levels as far as having, in a great situation like Ridgeland, where they've got that nice turf field over there. You've lived here all your life, Nick, for the most part. What do you see as the differences? I mean, maybe it's because of, one state actually cares more about their athletics with their schooling to make sure they have top facilities compared to what Tennessee, or what would be your thoughts on it?
Yeah, 100%. It's that they care more. You wonder why we think, we ask all the time why this area is not recruited well. It's not because the talent's not necessarily there. Facilities are bad, and they started to try to work on those to make them a little bit better. But it needs to be a little bit better. We'll be back. We'll talk a little bit more high school football when we get back. This is the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew and Sam Gordon tonight. News Radio 92.7 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chatta, Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
A crane crash in Hickson may be worse than we thought. Although nobody was hurt when a crane toppled to the ground on Boy Scout Road, 3 homes were condemned. Reports say the crane belonged to Big Woody's Tree Service. It's still not known why the crane fell over, but what's clear is the damage it left behind. The roofs of 3 homes were caved in, and the families which lived inside have to go somewhere else. The THP in Calhoun confirms a man was killed when he was hit by a train in Georgetown. Reports say it happened at the intersection of South Main and 3rd. 32-year-old Ricky Ferry was walking on the tracks when 3 locomotives towing 53 cars slammed into him. And great news from the TBI. Missing endangered child Briella Bowling was found in Williamson County. Her non-custodial mother has been arrested. The 12-year-old was believed to be in danger when she was reportedly taken by her mother. The girl is from DeKalb County. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
David Phillips, I made the move, 1 o'clock every weekday afternoon, 1 till 3, Nuga Radio.
92.7, Chattanooga weather.
Expect a warm and muggy start to your Friday. We'll see a scattering of showers and thunderstorms march in from the west. High temperatures settling into the mid-80s. Tonight, a few lingering showers and thundershowers, low 70 to 72. Scattered showers and storms likely again Saturday, near 85, staying into the 80s Sunday. Looking to buy or sell a home? Real Living Southern Realty provides real answers and customized marketing solutions. Serving the entire tri-state area, check rlsouthernrealty.com for more. And I'm Sports 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound. Fort Payne, Alabama, and Landers McClarty Ford. Big city selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with the small town price and friendly service. Now, I'm not knocking my hometown, but when it comes to my next ride, I only go to Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. Their selection is huge, but if I can't find what I want, they'll find it for me with the same low price, same great service, and only a short drive away. And I can go online to look around before I leave the house. Got that next dream ride in your head yet? Yeah, you do. Get a head start at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. Don't just dream it, find it at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. That's right, Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne, Alabama.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric, you're our winner.
Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian Motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join Nuga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hickson Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew. I am Nick Leffew. Sam Jordan joining me. Keon Rose will be joining us soon as well. This first segment talking about high school football. We don't really know how much more we can spend talking about high school football considering 2.5 hours game that we get to play last night. So,
well, at least we have 9 more weeks to go.
yeah, it's exciting. We'll be out. Keon and I will be out at Starbucks on North Shore Thursday night.
You guys are getting all the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be fun. We're going to be talking high school football. Obviously, going to have to talk about the upcoming matchups more than what happened last week. We can go over some things and stuff that happened this past weekend, Thursday and yesterday evening, and possibly some stuff today. But as we said, just in case you were wanting to go to the Saudi Daisy Red Bank game today that was scheduled to be at 1 o'clock, that is no longer a thing. They will make up. They will
figure it out
some other time, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but that's the plan. They'll plan on making that up at a later date.
Now, next week, we're going to be back at Red Bank, I believe, right?
Red Bank High School against Chattanooga Central. It's at Red Bank. Should be a fun game. Realistically, I think, Keon and I were at Finley Stadium Thursday night and saw a little bit of Central play in the first game of that doubleheader against Walker Valley. They were able to move the football real easily in the first half, especially. Then they kind of just decided to take the foot off the gas when they had a huge lead. I wish they wouldn't have.
Chattanooga Central, I think, may be a surprise team. I mean,
they were a playoff team last year.
Yeah. But I think Courtney Braswell, when he was still over there, really got him invigorated and excited. And it's like it's carried over, even though Coach Braswell is, left and went down to Ridgeland. But Chat Central seems to be pretty good, because when they were part of that jamboree, they were making some pretty decent plays. So, that could be an interesting game for Red Bank, hopefully it won't be a surprise on Red Bank, not to underestimate them or anything. Good morning, Mr. Rose.
Good morning.
You've got to be the tiredest man in Chattanooga.
I absolutely am. And the relief that I have right now that these games are not happening at 1, because I didn't even know.
No, they're not even going to do our game.
No.
That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, just like that at 1 p.m. I will still be unconscious. I'm so thrilled about just that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They made that. I think they made that decision late last night, at least for the Saudi Daisy Red Bank game, that they decided around midnight or so to just not even
not even try. I think, we talked about it. I think that's a good decision considering the way the field looked last night. The fact that there's going to be more rain coming in today. I think it's just a good idea just to let's let the field drain. Red Bank's got another game there next week. There is no reason to just tear that field apart.
Yeah, I mean, in 6 days, you have to be out there again. So it's tough.
Yeah, definitely. Thought we could kind of switch gears a little bit because, again, you don't
want to talk high school football anymore?
Well, I do. There's just nothing to talk about.
Okay.
It's
your show anyway.
I thought it was pretty amazing that we were able to get into the second segment talking about it because there wasn't that much to talk about.
And quite honestly, after last night, we exhausted it.
Well, I was saying to my better half, it's like in all the years that I've been doing this, I never thought I could get 3 hours of a non-ball game not on and be able to talk about football as long as we did. And it was like when you guys came through the door a little after 9 o'clock last night, it's like, thank you. I literally was, because you can only say so much about it.
It is. You can't, there's nothing to really talk about when there's no games being played and it's the first week of the season.
I think the game that went the furthest went to the third quarter. Like, we don't have anything.
Actually, there was one went later.
No, there was another one. East Hamilton and Signal Mountain did finish.
They finished.
They got done about 12:30 last night.
That is a football miracle.
You mean this morning?
Yeah, this morning. Yeah. So, I did. Like I said, I wanted to switch gears because we could sit here and talk circles around the fact that no games got played. Really, but.
We don't want to bore everybody.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that enough last night. So,
what are we going to talk about?
Well, this past week, and I don't talk a lot of baseball on this show, but I thought this was pretty interesting. So, Jose Urena, who is a pitcher for the Florida Marlins. Actually, let's back it up just a little bit.
Miami Marlins.
Yeah, Miami Marlins, whatever. They still suck. It doesn't matter.
We'll call you your right name when you stop being bad at baseball.
When you actually care about your program. Anyway, Miami Marlins pitcher Jose Urena hits Ronald Acuna with the first pitch of the game. I believe it was Thursday night. Or no, it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday. My week. This week is just anyway. It was Wednesday night. I was actually in here filling in for Keon when it happened. Otherwise, I probably would have talked about it on the show if I had known it had happened at that time. Ronald Acuna, the previous 3 games, had led off all 3 games of that series with a home run. So Jose,
and that's amazing in itself.
It is. There's only 4 players in the history of the game that ever have done that, like Ted Williams and like the list of the players that have been able to do that.
You could pretty much guess the guys who've been able to do that, and it's all
probably on one hand.
The greatest of the greats. Yeah.
And then that being said, he gets hit in the elbow with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball,
which is the fastest pitch that Urena threw all year.
All year.
His fastest pitch was just right at his elbow.
And now, that Urena decided to do this by himself, because if you look at JT Realmuto, who is the catcher for the Miami Marlins, as soon as the ball hits Acuna, he stands up, he takes his mask off, and you just see his eyes roll in the back of his head because he knew what was about to happen. Then Brian Snitker, the manager for the Braves, decides he wants to just run out. I thought he was going to start beating the crap out of Jose Urena.
I thought he was going to strangle Jose Urena. Like, if you watch it, it's like that guy has like homicidal intent with his own pitcher. He's going right at him.
Well, and so Snit comes out of the dugout and he decides, we need to figure this out, because the umpires weren't going to throw him out right away. Like, they ain't hit him, and then the bench is clear. Because, Snit goes out, so the Braves are like, we got to go protect our manager. So, the whole Braves dugout comes out. And then, when the Braves dugout comes out, then, of course, the Marlins dugout's going to come out. Jose Urena throws his glove down when the Braves dugout comes out. I guess he thought he was going to take on 25 guys because...
Wouldn't you?
And then... It clears up and everything, and then after the game, this is where it gets crazy to me. They interview Jose Urena.
That had to be interesting.
One, he can barely speak English, so it was an interesting interview in itself because of that. 2, He said, I throw inside all the time.
Oh, word? You throw at elbows constantly? That's your pitch?
So that being said, I was listening to like ESPN radio, like nationally syndicated radio, and they've been talking about this. And they said, well, we actually did the research. And on his on every first pitch that he's thrown this year, not one of them was inside.
Huh. Interesting.
So no, you don't. And you throw your fastest pitch you've probably ever thrown, and you throw it right at his elbow. He said, and he goes, it got away from me.
Well, you haven't thrown 97 miles an hour all season. It got away from you in that you meant for it to get away from you.
This kind of stuff, and this is really what I want to talk about. Baseball is the worst at this, with its unwritten rules, taking care of you got to keep the integrity of the game. First off, Ronald Acuna has done nothing wrong other than just tear the cover off the ball. Yeah. Like, he's not showing anybody up. He's not bat flipping. He's not, he's not Jose
He's
Bautista.
Not showing off.
Yeah, he's not Jose Bautista flipping the bat into the 12th row of the stand.
Even though I love that too.
I do too.
So,
I don't have a problem with it, but that I at least understand more because he's showing up the pitcher. Like, Ronald Acuna's not doing anything. They're just mad because they can't get the guy out.
Okay, get some better pitching.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand that. And I am not blaming the Miami Marlins because I do not think Don Mattingly said, go hit Ronald Acuna.
Right.
No.
Don Mattingly is a classy manager. Don Mattingly is a classy baseball guy. He did not tell Jose Urena to hit him. You can, like I said, you can look at JT Romeo.
Jose Urena decided to do that on his own.
Jose Urena was going to hit him.
This is the problem with this, and baseball needs to figure this out because baseball has a lot of struggles, but one is that like the best guys just have to be out there playing. It's not easy to watch the Patriots if Brady's not out there. Like without Acuna, it's not that the Braves are hard to watch, but like he's obviously the draw, and you have a guy that's injured behind just some guy just going off on his own. The problem with these unwritten rules is the person who's defining of the morality of the rule is usually just the person who is in the position to injure somebody.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that irritated me about that, and I'm not a Braves fan. I know you are, Nick, but the umpire behind the plate should have thrown him out. I mean, I'm coming from an umpire perspective here. That was as intentional as you could have gotten.
Well, they did end up throwing him out.
Probably New York called him and said you need to throw him out.
Here's the problem with it. Until we actually start finding these guys and suspending them significant time, he's missing one start.
Yeah, 6 games. That's a start.
That's a start.
Yeah,
and they
should have had.
And they did it because guess what happens? He would have started next week against the Braves. And I'm telling you right now, if I'm Brian Snitker,
I'd be sitting his rear
I
end.
I could not wait. If I'm Brian Snitker, I bring in one of my bullpen pitchers who doesn't matter, and when Jose Urena comes up to hit, I'm like, earhole him.
And by the way, we're gonna Jose Urena, like I like how they've suspended him for the next start as though that means that he somehow escaped this justice that baseball allows to go on
when Atlanta plays Miami 18 times a year.
This is what Major League Baseball needs to do. We have officials to handle this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you take this into your own hands, you're out of here, no pay, and just double it or triple it every time we end up here. And
well, they do it with everything else. They do it with the steroids. You get 3 strikes and you're out. First time it's a 50 game. Second time it's a 100 game. Third time, bye.
Yeah, they're not taking this seriously.
No,
and that's the reason why we have this problem.
And, the problem is guys like Keith Hernandez, and I don't know if you saw this. He is former pitcher for the New York Mets. He does the broadcast.
He was the former first baseman.
Whatever.
He was originally with the Cardinals and then went to the Mets.
Oh, sorry, Cardinals fan.
Yes.
But he was better as a Met, so.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so
yes.
Keith Hernandez, didn't he win a World Series in New York?
He won it with St. Louis back in 86.
I thought that was the year the Mets won the World Series.
Well, all right, he did there. 82, I'm sorry.
Okay.
82.
So anyway,
they beat the Royals.
That being said, Keith Hernandez is a moron. He's on there. He's like, yeah, I would have had my pitcher do the same thing.
Because you stink at baseball. Look, like, here's the thing.
That's the problem.
That is the issue, right? Like, the Marlins are really, really bad at baseball to the point where, like, if you want to talk about the team that is ruining the integrity of the game, it's the Marlins. The Marlins are not offensive to baseball. They're offensive to sports. They're not even trying to win.
And it's not like in NBA where when you tank, you get a guy who's going to come in and help you right away.
And then trade them.
You don't get a guy that comes in and helps you right away because they got to go through the minors, because they've never hit with a wooden bat, because they're hitting with alloy bats their whole life. And then now they got to learn how to hit with a wooden bat, or you got to learn how to actually pitch instead of just throw hard because you were just better than everybody else in high school or college. You got to learn how to actually pitch, or you got to learn how to hit. And so they got to go through the minors. So you can't tank.
Yeah. If tanking were what it was that they were doing, but we all know they're just cheap. That's really all it is.
They traded their whole outfield.
They gave away, Giancarlo Stanton for a bag of chips and a sack of paper clips because they didn't want to pay him.
They gave away their whole outfield. Marcell Ozuna, who's now with the Cardinals. And then Christian Yelich, who's now with the Brewers.
Yeah.
And Giancarlo Stanton in New York. That was a great outfield. You had three guys
gave them away. It's not like you got back some solid prospects in return.
You got a bag of ball and a bag of sunflower seeds.
Nothing. You got back nothing.
The Marlins, deals like that.
The Marlins should just line up, and every major league pitcher should hit them with pitches for just offending all of us. That's really where I'm going with this.
Yeah, but it all comes down to ownership. If they don't care, as long as if they've got another business, this is probably the best write out they could ever have.
Yeah.
It's a tax situation.
How do you
Miami deserves better.
How do you make any money? There ain't nobody going to those games. Would anybody go watch that team?
Insurance.
I wouldn't.
Okay, first off, it's Miami. People barely go watch the teams when they're good. People barely went to go watch the Heat when they had LeBron.
Yeah.
So, you look at this squad and you go,
Marlins are any different?
So exactly. This team is bad.
Yeah.
If the few diehards that you have, there's no reason for them to show up either. So
your actual season ticket holders who pay a lot of money to watch a terrible product. At least when the Braves were bad these last few years, they were building, and you could see them building in the farm
They're going,
system.
Look, Braves fans, be patient. We've got a team coming,
and they were,
and we all knew it.
And they're reaping the benefits of this. However, the Marlins, I don't know why any manager, why would Don Mattingly take that job? Don Mattingly is a good manager.
Well,
it's because he's probably going to eventually be a Yankees manager because he's played as a Yankee all of his life.
Working with Derek Jeter.
I don't know. Aaron Boone's doing a pretty good job. So
yeah, that guy's probably going to end up keeping that job. Yeah. They started off really slow at the beginning of the season, but they've turned that thing around. The Yankees are terrifying.
Yeah, that division is the top two teams in that division.
Just leave the AL East alone, man. They're
really good.
It's
maybe
scary
send
over
them
there.
to Toronto, maybe.
Well, I feel bad because I feel like any player or manager whose career who they go to Miami, it's where their career goes to die. It's kind of like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Or Cleveland.
Or just Cleveland in general.
Right.
Just Cleveland.
Yeah.
But pick a squad.
Pick any of them in Cleveland. It's really, I just don't understand what the point of hitting a skid. If you're baseball, if I'm Major League Baseball, I want my young guys, I want my young stars, the people that people are coming to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I want them in the game. If somebody throws at them, protect them.
Right.
Every other sport does this.
Right.
Except you.
You know what the draw is in basketball. There's a superstar foul. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, these guys get fouls that other people don't get because if something bad were to really happen to Russell Westbrook, no one's going to watch the Thunder without him.
No.
No one's going to watch. The Braves are still a really good team, but there's some teams where there's only one guy, maybe two.
Well, you say that, but you look if you watch a game on TV and they pan across the stands and you look at the jerseys or the T-shirt jerseys that people are wearing, they're all got number 13. And it's all Ron Acuna Jr.
Look, the Acuna craze is real, and
he's really good,
and it's genuine. It really is.
People love, and the thing about the Braves fans, and they get a lot of crap, which I don't really understand because they show up when the team's bad, they show up when the team's good.
I think Atlanta has and I've talked about this before. I think Atlanta has a bad rep as being a bad sports town. But it's weird. It's based off of their well, not success, but their lack of success with the Hawks. Like, honestly, people look at the Hawks games and go, even when that team's good, like, nobody shows up.
It's because it's the Hawks.
But it's the Hawks.
Nobody cares.
They haven't had a superstar since Dominique Wilkins.
Well, and then they people say the same thing because of the Thrashers having to leave. Well, the Thrashers, I think, made the playoffs one time in their whole time.
They were terrible.
So, I mean, hockey can succeed in the South. You just got to put a product that's worth anything on the ice, and so that's any sport.
Yeah, you can't blame the fans for that, but obviously, like I think the Braves are obviously the exception there. Just in terms of like when they're bad, people still show up.
Yeah, I mean, the Braves are top 5 in Major League Baseball in attendance this year. One, you have an absolutely beautiful new stadium that people just love to go to, and two, and there's more to do there than just baseball, which that's in that
proximity around the park.
With the battery, and then even you throw the battery out, even in the stadium itself, there's a ton to do, which is unbelievable to me. I mean, you walk around the outfield, that's where they have like the Braves Hall of Fame out there, and the World Series trophies in there and everything like that. So cool, and they've done a really nice job. Because baseball is one of those sports you got to have other things to do in the stadium.
When I've been around to other major professional cities, with, like Pittsburgh, seeing the Steelers, or up at Rich Stadium there with the Bills, they have adapted to make it a fun experience for the whole family when you go there, with having, the Wall of Fame or their little memorabilia areas and their eating areas where it's like really conducive. Even minor league baseball is getting into that, with having the coves out either left field or right field, and things for the kids to do if they get bored and not want to sit in the seat and watch a ball game for 9 innings.
But kids will sit down to watch Ronald Acuna play for 9 innings. So baseball, protect him.
And you saw it with Bryce Harper when he came up. It was the same kind of thing. People would hit him and stuff like that. So I just don't understand why we can't protect our players in this sport like we do every other sport. Well, that was the first hour of this morning's Breakfast with. I'm Nick Leffew, joined with Keanu and Sam Jordan. We'll be right back. Nougat Radio 92.7.
Traffic, news, and information. Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. Chatter, Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
A new defendant added to the Athens Park Bloods RICO case that brings the number up to 55 defendants charged. They collectively face 25 varied charges. That includes murdering a state witness, Bianca Horton, starting fires, robbing houses, conspiring alleged gang members to sell drugs, and helping other alleged associates bond themselves out of jail. 12 shots were fired on Inman Street in Cleveland. 2 people were arrested. Reports say the shots were fired right next to a church. Sergeant Evie West told the press that 2 people were charged with unlawful possession of a firearm, 1 charged with possession of marijuana. East Ridge Mayor Brent Lambert will not be running for his office again, so the race is down to 2 candidates, former Councilman Jim Bethune and current Councilman Brian Williams. The election will take place on November the 4th. Sean Hannity, weekdays 3 to 6. Russell Stroud, Nougat Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nougat Radio 92.7 FM.
Nougat Radio 92.7. Chattanooga weather.
Expect a cloudy, foggy, and wet start to your Saturday. A few more scattered showers and thunder showers possible through the afternoon. Highs lower 80s. Tonight, a lingering shower or storm, low 70 to 72. For Sunday, scattered mainly afternoon showers and storms back into the mid 80s again on Monday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Soar Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
Radio 92.7.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
My ex recently hacked my email and my social media, and it really caused me some problems. I changed all my passwords, which helped, but I'm still getting trolled, maybe even stalked. I know it's him. I just can't prove it.
My business, well, it's been broken into twice already. I've got cameras, but that only helps after the fact. I'd rather prevent it from happening in the first place.
Unity One East is your solution to these and many other security concerns. With private investigation, security services, and backed by decades of real-life experience in military and law enforcement, Unity One East is your instant contact for security, investigation, and consultation to help protect you, your family, and your business. No 1-800 number, no red tape, no wait, because Unity One East is local and available 24/7. Reclaim your peace of mind. Call Unity One East, 475-6206, 475-6206.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Cheese, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire? Thanks.
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come unwind at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound.
WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by ZipRecruiter.
I'm Jim Taylor. Kofi Annan is dead.
I have often said that you can take the man out of the UN, but you can't take the UN out of the man.
Former head of the UN, dead in Geneva. Today, CBS News Foreign Affairs analyst Pamela Falk covered Kofi Annan for years.
He was known to diplomats as a lifer, a career diplomat at the UN who rose in the ranks to become Secretary General for 2 terms from 1997 until 2006, and he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize along with the United Nations in 2001.
Former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, dead at the age of 80. A candlelight vigil in a small town in Colorado where a pregnant mother is dead, and so are her 2 little daughters. KCNC TV reporter Jeff Todd.
As the vigil started, a few raindrops fell. Wind made it hard to keep candles lit. But still, hundreds showed up. Families with kids of all ages coming together to mourn in their own way.
They're dancing with the light of heaven on their beautiful faces.
It's not a closure or anything, but it just shows more strength. I mean, from day one, everybody's come together is what it's done.
The girl's father, the mother's husband, under arrest. A national day of mourning in Italy. Funerals for some of the dozens who died in the Genoa bridge collapse there. As jurors in the Paul Manafort tax evasion trial take a weekend break, the judge with a revelation. CBS's Stephen Portnoy reports.
They've been at it for 2 full days now, but jurors still haven't reached a verdict. They'll be back at it again on Monday. In a revelation that stunned the courtroom, Judge T.S. Ellis says he has received threats while he's presided over the case and that he's now being protected by U.S. Marshals. When news organizations asked Ellis to make jurors' names part of the public record, he declined, saying he feared they would face threats too.
Unprecedented pushback, criticism of President Trump's revocation of a security clearance of former CIA Director John Brennan. University of Virginia political science professor Larry Sabato.
He's so firm with his base, he could do absolutely anything, and they'll never waver from him. But for everybody else, this ought to be of great concern. It's another example of Donald Trump serving himself rather than the nation's interests.
Some arrests in connection with more than 100 overdoses of K2 in New Haven, Connecticut. The police chief.
We will continue to have a strong police presence downtown to make sure that anyone else who would think about filling the gap that has been opened up by the arrests of these 3 offenders would be deterred.
This is CBS News.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for businesses of all sizes. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof? I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you? I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782. Liberty did what? They saved me $782. Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
We work hard at being healthier. And what we really need is better quality sleep. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed intelligently senses your movements and automatically adjusts your comfort and support on both sides. This is not a bed. It's proven quality sleep. It's the biggest sale of the year where all beds are on sale. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing only for a limited time. To find your local Sleep Number store, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Is there a toga party in your neighborhood tonight? It would be appropriate.
Yeah, it's been 40 years.
The Deltas. What a great bunch of guys.
This weekend in Cottage Grove, they'll celebrate all things Animal House. There's the massive food fight. Double secret probation.
Double secret probation?
And the toga party for when you really get in trouble.
We're on double secret probation, whatever that is. We can't afford to have a toga party.
What a shame that a few bad apples have to spoil a good time for everyone by breaking the rules.
Put a sock on it, boy.
Oh, God.
Mike Turner for CBS News, Portland, Oregon.
Scary moments at a crowded high school football game, South Florida last night. Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office says 2 people shot, taken to the hospital, one of them in critical. Isaac Harmon describes what it was like when the gunfire broke out.
The cheerleaders and the football players started running, so everybody in the stand started running. I'm running down the stairs. I hear boom, 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 boom.
No arrests at this time. I'm Jim Taylor, CBS News.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A new defendant added to the Athens Park Bloods RICO case that brings the number up to 55 defendants charged. They collectively face 25 varied charges. That includes murdering a state witness, Bianca Horton, starting fires, robbing houses, conspiring alleged gang members to sell drugs, and helping other alleged associates bond themselves out of jail. 12 shots were fired on Inman Street in Cleveland. 2 people were arrested. Reports say the shots were fired right next to a church. Sergeant E.B. West told the press that 2 people were charged with unlawful possession of a firearm, 1 charged with possession of marijuana. East Ridge Mayor Brent Lambert will not be running for his office again, so the race is down to 2 candidates, former Councilman Jim Bethune and current Councilman Brian Williams. The election will take place on November the 4th. Sean Hannity, weekdays 3 to 6. Russell Stroud, Chattanooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather. Expect a cloudy, foggy, and wet start to your Saturday. A few more scattered showers and thunder showers possible through the afternoon. Highs lower 80s. Tonight, a lingering shower storm, low 70 to 72. For Sunday, scattered mainly afternoon showers and storms. Back into the mid-80s again on Monday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
the radio. 92.7.
We just started a family and we're already planning for the future. Michael Levy has helped pave the way to keep our financial future on track. He's local, he knows us, and cares about what's important to us. Don't put your future on hold. Call Michael Levy, 779-7755.
Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, Rick is buying and selling a woman's best friend, diamonds. Stop in now and check out the wide selection from Chattanooga's premier jeweler, Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road in Chattanooga. Before you buy, let Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds create that special gift for you. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road in Chattanooga.
Cougar Radio 92.7.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz. This is hour number 2. I'm Nick Leffew, joined by Keon So, just to reiterate what we said earlier, the Saudi Daisy Red Bank game that we were going to broadcast last night and then broadcast at some point today also has been postponed for today. So there is no football on Nougat Radio today. However, I believe you said, Sam, that there's going to be NASCAR.
There's going to be a NASCAR race up at the Bristol racetrack up there in the far upper corners of Tennessee, and you can listen to all the action lap by lap beginning at 6:30 here on Nougat Radio 92.7 FM through the facilities of PRN, the Performance Racing Network. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Bristol's always fun, though.
Yeah.
Like Darrell Waltrip always says, it's Bristol, baby. So, you know.
Yeah, you actually almost can imitate him on that.
Yeah, well, it's the Southern in me, I think. I think that's what...
Not the Saudi Daisy in
Yeah, I think that's what allows me to do the Darrell Waltrip. But I believe they're getting close to the playoffs, right? I mean, I don't follow NASCAR super closely, but I know...
Actually, mid-September is when the race for the chase will get underway, last 10 races.
I did see a note today, though, that there are many drivers thinking about retiring. I know Elliott Sadler and Casey Kane are both talking about it. I know Casey Kane's already done it.
Yeah, yesterday. So that this is it.
A lot of drivers deciding to hang it up. That's kind of surprising me with Casey Kane. He's kind of young.
Well, both Elliott and Casey said yesterday, and Elliott hasn't really officially announced, but they are both, young parents. And they want to be able to spend as much time with their kids. And I mean, that's huge.
I can respect that. Like, if you have the money already, some guys just love racing, and it really isn't about the money. But if you to have the wisdom already to know, like, having a family is more important, and then we talk about head trauma in football, but head trauma is an issue in NASCAR as well. So, I mean, having that extended time to say, well, I want to be able to talk to my kids when I'm old too. I mean, all of that stuff matters. It's a big decision, but I understand it.
Well, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I had opportunities of going on and doing play-by-play for a couple of professional teams. And I had a guy that came through, heard me doing a game on a station that this station's owner had at that time. And I got offered a job, but they said, you're going to be on the road 9 months out of the year. You're going to be making close to $100,000 a year. My 4 older boys were just getting into those teenage years. And it's like, you know what? I battled that decision for a couple of weeks. And it's like, you know what? My kids are more important. And it's like, I could still do sports, even on a local level. And it's like, after I really thought about it and prayed about it, it's like, I made the right decision. I don't regret that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have to take into account where they are in their family life when they're doing things like this. These NASCAR drivers go from February to November. I mean,
and they're still doing off-season testing and all that at the different wind tunnels and stuff, just to make sure that they're getting their groove, in place before Daytona gets here.
Yeah, it's really, it's got to be tough on those guys. I mean, that's probably the sport that you spend the most time away.
Yeah.
That or baseball. And, baseball, when you go on those long 10 to 15 day road trips, those get really tough. So
Well, I was talking with one of the personnel over at Chattanooga Lookouts, and it's like, the Southern League, they try to give you like 1 day a week off. He says sometimes that amounts to maybe 2 or 3 days in the entire month that you have off. I mean, you're playing baseball solid. I mean, in the minor leagues at Chattanooga's level, they're doing, I believe, 76 games in a season, maybe a little bit more. And it's like, that's a lot of baseball. I mean, yeah, when you're young like that, you want to play as much as you can. I mean, even as a kid, I'm talking teenager. Little League World Series just got started on Thursday, and it's like you just live and breathe it. And it's like, you just want to keep playing it. But once you get up there in your 20s, 30s, it's like, I need a break.
And for baseball fans,
yes.
The Little League World Series, like they're doing the MLB game in Williamsport on Sunday night with the Mets and the Phillies. So that'll be fun Sunday night. If you want to watch Sunday night baseball on ESPN, that's going to be really, it's always fun. They have the nicknames on the back of the jerseys that the players get to choose for the day and stuff like that. I love that. It's such a cool thing that Major League Baseball started to do with Little League. So that's exciting.
That was one game I could not go to. They had, I was a member of the media up there. This was just prior to me moving down here last September. And I've actually been an umpire at the World Series complex. And I've also been a broadcaster out of that same press box there at Bowman Field. And it's like, I tried to pull all kinds of strings like, hey, can I get in here? Gabe, can you help me out? He's vice president of the Williamsport Crosscutters. He says, no, if you're not a Little League parent or a player or a coach, that's all that was getting into Bowman Field.
Wow.
Which is so cool, though.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
To let those kids go watch a Major League game. And it's so exciting. And I think the players even love it, too. I think the Major League Baseball players love it. They get to interact with the kids.
You remember when you were a kid and you were
a lot of those
baseball?
Kids played in that Little League World Series. I mean, they were talking the little promo that they were running. It had Michael Conforto, who was in the Little League World Series, Scott Kingery for the Phillies, who was in there, and then also Todd Frazier for the Mets. So Michael Conforto and Todd Frazier for the Mets were both in the Little League World Series. And so, that's pretty cool, along with Scott Kingery of the Phillies. So that, they have those memories of being there and doing all of that. So that's so cool for those MLB players. It's really cool for the young kids to get to see their idols play a game
and I think that's always going to be a Phillies game, because, or as long as it
was Pirates last year.
Yeah, Pirates and the Phillies, and that's because of State College being a Pirates single A affiliate and the Crosscutters being a Phillies affiliate, and with Williamsport being a part of the Phillies system, Phillies are guaranteed, probably as long as they keep that affiliation in Williamsport, to have a game during Little League World Series time.
That's so cool. Want to switch gears just a little bit to.
We're going from fun to
no fun at all.
To zero fun to all seriousness. Some more information. We talked, Keon and I, a couple weeks ago, especially talked about the Urban Meyer scandal going on with Zach Smith at Ohio State. Well,
it's getting weird.
It is getting weird. Brett McMurphy, who is the one who kind of broke the story. So if you don't know, Brett McMurphy, former reporter at ESPN, who now has not a job.
ESPN, by the way, do they regret that? Because this man is doing like top quality journalism from his Facebook page.
He said he was on SportsCenter more during this than he was in his whole career at ESPN, which I find absolutely hilarious. And it was great reporting by Brett McMurphy, and there's been more that's come out. Now, this is where it starts to just get weird. He's gotten information from Courtney Smith, the ex-wife of Zach Smith, that at different points in time throughout his tenure at Ohio State, he would send pictures of his little self to her.
His privates.
Mm-hmm. In the football office, in the complex. Take just pictures and send it. And then he also did it when they visited the White House after winning the national championship.
Because, of course, That's the pinnacle of his life there.
With a get ready, a towel with the president's seal on it.
Yeah.
He thought that was so cool. Like, you just know if you do something like that, you thought that was a great idea.
See, and you thought that was the weird part.
It's not. That's actually it was going to get weird. That's not where it gets weird.
Oh no, it gets more weird. This is the same gentleman who also had different
toys
ordered and mailed to the Ohio State football complex.
That's bold and brazen.
Now, if I work at the football complex and I am getting the mail, I look at Urban Meyer and I'm like, who ordered this? Like, what are we doing?
And also, like, multiple. Like, it wasn't like a one-off.
No, it wasn't.
I didn't want to send to my house.
It wasn't a one and done.
So I got it sent right. Which we should definitely do away with that rule.
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't want it sent to my house, so I got it sent here so I could, like, no, this is a pattern. He just gets them sent there. Why?
Yeah, then there's also this just keeps getting better. Then there's also reports of him getting favors from Ohio State staffers.
Yep, having relations.
Okay, so here, I just don't.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know.
Where's Nick going? Where was he going with this?
I'm just saying that's what
I don't understand. What are you doing? Like, this makes Hugh Freeze look like a saint.
And Hugh Freeze, by the way, I thought never again would we find somebody to put at the king of the brazen and bold list. Give that man the crown. It's over. When you use your own company phone, your university phone, to call prostitutes, I thought you couldn't get more brazen than that. But when you start sending these toys to your office, how did you think that was ever going to go over?
Hugh Freeze was just stupid. This coach here, Zach Smith at Ohio State, was just a stupid, dumb, you know what.
Well, here's my thing with the whole Zach Smith thing. You're telling me that Urban Meyer didn't know?
He may not have. No, hold on. Hear me out on this. Urban Meyer's office has probably got to be at the other end of the building, and all the assistants are somewhere else down. They're not going to know specifically unless the secretary that gets the mail and everything's like, Coach, I don't know if you know about this or not, but blah, blah, blah.
I guarantee you that that's exactly what happened. They would go up to Urban Meyer and be like, hey, we just got this in the mail. I just...
But here's my question. Why would you have stuff like that sent to your work?
Because he was cheating. Because he was cheating on his wife, so he couldn't.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but
get a PO box.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not hard. This is the same thing as the Hugh Freeze thing. Why would you use your school phone? They sell free burners at the gas station.
Yeah.
This is not difficult.
No, it's not.
Don't be an idiot. It's okay. So I don't want my wife to know, so I get it sent to my job, so my boss will.
Oh, I can just see Mike, if something like that came here to the radio station and I had it ordered, and it's like, okay, he may laugh about it at first, but it's like, brother, you just can't be doing this.
Yeah, like you have a problem. You ever want to see a group to deal with some of these issues? Because you really do have a problem at that point.
I can see you doing this at your other real job that you got at the Christian TV station. And it's like you have sex toys sent there.
You know how they fire people over there? One day you show up to work and your card won't let you in. Yeah. So yeah, that's
probably like your place too.
They would love it.
Look, no one's even going to tell you you're fired. You ought to know. You ought to know.
I just want to know.
What do you want?
What it's going to take for Urban Meyer to just no longer be the head coach? Because I don't know. Even if he didn't know about this, at some point, you have these athletic directors get in trouble all the time and get fired for lack of institutional control.
John Curry.
This is lack of institutional control.
Right. And here's the thing, because there is an equation here, obviously. where you
we
look
got some stupid
on
coaches.
one end of the equal sign, you have the talent of the person to coach football, and on the other end, you have what they did. And all I'm learning from this is that Urban Meyer is really, really good at coaching football, because this thing has jumped off the tracks and is running away, and most coaches would be gone.
Oh, 100%.
Well, this almost goes into the same direction as Bobby Petrino when he was on that little motorcycle ride with his student assistant over in Oklahoma, and he ends up, he's out of coaching. He gets the rest of his buyout, whatever that amounted to, and he ends up at the University of Louisville. Urban Meyer is going to end up back in coaching somewhere. The NCAA is not going to say, all right, you're banned from coaching in the NCAAs anywhere.
So you should be.
Yeah, you should be. There ought to be some moral turpitude out there that, prevents people like this from ever getting back into coaching. I mean, Jerry Sandusky, he's not ever going to get out of jail again, but even if Joe Paterno didn't die, I'm sure that there probably would have been some way of forcing him out. He had to have known that Jerry Sandusky was doing the things he was doing to kids.
College football coaches are alpha males. Like, it's because I get to listen to the SEC teleconferences, and I listen. These guys know everything. They know everything. It's not possible. Like, just they're micromanagers. They're control freaks. There's no way that Zach Smith was doing all of this stuff and Urban Meyer didn't know. There's no way that the pictures were being taken, that they're just everywhere now. And Urban Meyer didn't know. I mean, you just.
I'll say this about the whole thing. This is, and we talked about it when we first brought it up. We wonder why we have a culture problem. This is why. These are the people that kids look up to. These are the people that kids want to be. And this is what we allow to happen. And it's not just Ohio State. You go back. You have Hugh Freeze being a moron. You have Art Briles at Baylor just allowing sexual assault to just run rampant through Baylor. Not just the athletic program, but the whole university.
The whole university. And it wasn't even that they turned a blind eye. It was that they were actually telling some of the girls who were assaulted. Yeah. Trying to silence them. It's egregious.
And that's a huge Baptist school. I mean, they're very religious in their leanings.
DJ Durkin over in Maryland, a kid died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
19 years old.
At what point do morals overtake the fact that winning's just not that important? Like, it obviously is. That's why they get paid these millions of dollars to coach football, is because they can win. Or at least that you hope they can win. And at some point, you have to take a step back and say, okay, yeah, winning's great, but we got to take care of these kids, and we got to make sure that we put them in the best situation to not just be successful on the football field, but be successful in life. And we're not putting these kids in those situations, and we need to figure out a way to take a step back and figure this out. Now, I don't know if it ever will. I doubt it probably will, because all the money that's involved, they don't care as long as you win. They don't care. But at some point, you have to say, at what point is enough enough? Because this just continues to happen.
Nick, I know you aren't an Urban Meyer fan, but this next question I'm going to pose to both of you. All right, everybody's found out about Greg Schiano, who's the assistant there for Urban Meyer, who had a job and hours later he didn't at Tennessee. Now we have the Zach Smith incident that's going on. Do you think this is enough to bring Urban Meyer down, or they're going to give him one more chance, third strike, you're out?
I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I think if they were going to get rid of him, they'd already done it. I think he's going to have another chance, because it doesn't matter, because he wins. And Greg Schiano, don't even get me started with him. Not to mention Tom Wilson, who is the co-offensive coordinator, was fired from Indiana for mistreating players.
So, yeah, no, I agree with Nick. Look, with Urban Meyer, the fact of the matter is Ohio State is going to twist and turn and find every reason to keep him. They said this was an investigation that was going to last 14 days. And then
we've already went past that.
2 days ago, the report from the university president was, it'll be done when it's done. Why? Well, because they have enough damning evidence to get rid of Urban Meyer. What they're looking for is that one little excuse to keep him.
Yeah.
And they will. They'll find
He
it.
didn't know about it. That's what they're going to say. And you know what? If he didn't know about it, that's just as bad as knowing.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
because
negligence.
Because now you just don't even care because your wife knew. So if your wife knew about it, then and you didn't,
and just from the text messages around it, it's not just that your wife knew.
Everybody's wife
all
knew.
the coaches' wives knew, which means you assume that at least most of your coaches knew. If you somehow at that point didn't know, you didn't want to know.
Well, here's the thing. If all the coaches' wives are talking to each other, why ain't Urban Meyer talking to his coaches to know what's going on?
They were. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know they were. We
just
now we don't
proof
have
of it.
evidence of it because Urban Meyer is good at lying. And he's been caught in one lie in his whole career, and it was the one that Brett McMurphy caught him in at Big Ten Media Days. And other than that, he has been great at lying his whole career. That's and that's just why he's been able to skirt around these things. I mean, you look at what he had at Florida. My gosh, he has his team was a prison lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Tebow.
The
most fascinating team in the history of college sports.
So I just don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that if
his health is going to get bad.
Yeah, you know it will.
Oh, look, the heart pains are back.
But
heart pains. Purse strings are going to be hurting too.
What we will do though is we will talk about more exciting and fun things when we get back. We're going to talk about college football. We're 2 weeks away from the first Saturday of college football. We're back, baby. Breakfast Blitz, Big Radio, 97
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A crane crash in Hickson may be worse than we thought. Although nobody was hurt when a crane toppled to the ground on Boy Scout Road, 3 homes were condemned. Reports say the crane belonged to Big Woody's Tree Service. It's still not known why the crane fell over, but what's clear is the damage it left behind. The roofs of 3 homes were caved in, and the families which lived inside have to go somewhere else. The THP in Calhoun confirms a man was killed when he was hit by a train in Georgetown. Reports say it happened at the intersection of South Main and 3rd. 32-year-old Ricky Ferry was walking on the tracks when 3 locomotives towing 53 cars slammed into him. And great news from the TBI, missing endangered child Briella Bowling was found in Williamson County. Her non-custodial mother has been arrested. The 12-year-old was believed to be in danger when she was reportedly taken by her mother. The girl is from DeKalb County. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
David Tulis. I made the move 1 o'clock every weekday afternoon, 1 till 3, Nuga Radio.
92.7 Chattanooga weather.
Expect a cloudy, foggy, and wet start to your Saturday. A few more scattered showers and thunder showers possible through the afternoon. Highs lower 80s. Tonight, a lingering shower storm, low 70 to 72. For Sunday, scattered mainly afternoon showers and storms back into the mid-80s again on Monday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Soar Gene 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound. Fort Payne, Alabama, and Landers McClarty Ford. Big city selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with the small town price and friendly service. Now, I'm not knocking my hometown, but when it comes to my next ride, I only go to Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. Their selection is huge, Then if I can't find what I want, they'll find it for me with the same low price, same great service, and only a short drive away. And I can go online to look around before I leave the house. Got that next dream ride in your head yet? Yeah, you do. Get a head start at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. Don't just dream it, find it at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. That's right, Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne, Alabama.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric. You're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nuga Radio.
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Call 423-875-3600 if you're looking to expand your professional look of your business. Then consider the vast opportunities that are available when you locate your office with the Raines Group family. Remember, it's location, location, location. And the Raines Group has the location for your professional office. Check out the spaces for lease at Executive Business Park on the Lee Highway. Small or large, we will build to suit your needs with the Raines Group. Call 423-875-3600 for the business professionals with the Raines Group.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hickson Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio.
Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7.
Nuga Radio.
I know you're
You waited all this time.
I know you're probably shocked, but I want to spend the last segment kind of breaking down a little
At
bit
least
of.
it's only 20 minutes.
That's right. Yeah. So, Jeremy Pruitt this week, they've started moving some guys around. We alluded to this a little bit last night on the end of the show with the countdown to kickoff / scoreboard / whatever.
It's the fifth quarter / we talk about not having seen football.
Considering most games never even got to the fourth quarter, I don't know how we call it the fifth quarter.
Yeah,
it was much like a radio version of Cheers, much about nothing.
Yeah, it really was. But I will say this: Jeremy Pruitt got guys moving around. He's practicing guys at different places and in different positions. And somebody asked him about position moves and stuff like that. He said, "Well, we got to be prepared in the event we need them." And I was like, "Man, this is a breath of fresh air." Considering last year we had quarterbacks taking leadership reps. So it's exciting to see that he actually has a plan.
You had linemen taking leadership reps last year.
Well, I had linemen falling on a helmet too, saying he got a black eye, and not he didn't get punched. He didn't get punched. He fell on a helmet.
Because I remember. Okay, so here's the thing with Tennessee in depth under Butch Jones, right? I remember
who,
right. We try not to speak his name.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
He's like Voldemort, but I have to say it.
Yeah.
But Tennessee under him, I think it was the game after the Appalachian State game where there were some injuries to the offensive line, and Josh Dobbs it was the Alabama game that year,
2016.
Yeah. And Josh Dobbs was like shaking hands with offensive linemen from the practice squad because he had never really talked to them before. So you just had guys that hadn't really played. The depth wasn't there, like not even a little bit. This is a complete sea change with Jeremy Pruitt.
And the players seem to love it, which why wouldn't you? You're actually getting coached, and you might actually get better. It just, to me, it shows the fact that at least this guy understands football. I don't know how successful he's going to be able to be. I don't. Nobody knows because he's never done it before. But the fact that he actually seems to have a plan in place, what a novel idea as a football coach. He has an idea of what he wants to have done. And the fact that he feels pretty confident in how good this team actually is. And that's another thing. We talked about the quiet confidence he has about being able to start 3-1, 4-0 going into the stretch of games that are just absolutely brutal. This is a guy who walked in. I think he thinks this talent's a little bit better than he thought it was. The recruiting was not a problem under Butch Jones.
Right.
You're talking in the last 5 years, I think the average class is around 11 in the country composite from 247 Sports. So the talent's there. He's having to move some people around and put them in the right position because Butch Jones never had anybody in the right position. By the way, when Butch Jones was a coach at Central Michigan, he played J.J. Watt. Get ready, tight end. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff. This is the same guy that Butch Jones, who had a guy like Antonio Brown at Central Michigan. You never heard of Antonio Brown when he was at Central Michigan, but Butch Jones takes credit for how great he is. But that's beside the point. This is a guy.
But I will say this though, because you talked about the confidence that Jeremy Pruitt has. He thinks they can go 3-1, 4-0. It's a tough stretch to start, right?
Yeah.
But you look at Butch Jones, and you just said this too. The talent was never an issue. The recruiting was never an issue. But Butch would always go, "Well, I'm not sure if we can do it. I don't want to overpromise." Like he didn't have confidence in the guys that he recruited, even though he recruited good guys.
I don't know if it wasn't confidence in the guys he recruited. I think it was confidence in the fact that he didn't know how to coach, and he knew he was stupid.
Maybe, but like it's still insane, and it does just feel completely different to have a guy recruit well, but then also have confidence that those players are going to be able to go out there and win. We've got a game plan. We know what we're going to do. And it doesn't matter if the schedule is tough. We can win it.
Yeah. And you want your coach to believe that you're going to win every game, even if realistically you look at it and you're like, I'll be happy if we win 6,
Why would you say that?
You know what? I bet you with Butch Jones, it wasn't necessarily the fact that he couldn't coach at Tennessee. Having that good support staff. Like with us here, I've got a great support staff with you two with doing the ball games and stuff while I sit here and push knobs and buttons and all that kind of stuff that made him look good until the team players just decided, all right, we've had enough of this BS. We're revolting. So, and the assistants are the ones that are doing the bulk of the recruiting anyway. So those student athletes are going on the beliefs of what these assistants are telling them.
And that's why I think it's very important to have such a good staff. And Butch Jones, realistically, I don't know how they were able to recruit so well because that staff was not very good. The staff that Jeremy Pruitt's brought in, however, has a ton of SEC experience.
Did you hear breaking news that the Southeast Conference is looking at changing their name to the Saban Conference?
That's probably about true. All the coaches are Sabanites.
Well, if you can get into the college football playoff by the way, without winning the division and then still win a national title, then you've got
you beat the team.
You got a little merit.
You beat the team that won your conference championship in the national championship. That's just so funny.
With your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
It's the most Nick Saban thing that's ever happened.
And now who's going to start?
That is an interesting question down in Tuscaloosa. I don't know.
I would have to say Tua, and I know it's a tentative position with them because they don't want to piss off Jalen, who already just looks upset. I mean, you see him when the media come to talk to him about any of these things, like he just looks pissed off.
If I'm Nick Saban, why do I let Jalen Hurts talk to the media? That's a bad idea.
It is, and he's starting to be a little bit more bold with what he's saying.
Oh, very bold.
Just in terms of speaking his mind. That
he looks like he's determined he's coming to Tennessee
or anywhere else, because he was saying some stuff like so after the national title game when he was talking to the media, he was saying, look, I'm just happy that we won. I want to be a team player. And at the end of this summer, he basically was saying, like, nobody reached out to him to ask him how he was doing after the game, or, how do you feel about Tua coming in here and winning in the second half? Like, nobody talked to him. And he's very mad about that. He's not pleased at all. So I think even if you were leaning towards Tua, if you make that early indication, I think you lose him.
I think they may already have.
I think so too.
I don't think he's not going to declare a transfer now. He'll make it. He'll go through the season. But I'd be shocked if they try to bring him into a game where, with the new red shirt rule, you can play 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
If they try to bring him into game number 5, I bet he goes, nah,
right.
I'm good. Thanks. So he can take his red shirt and go. But I'd love him at Tennessee. That'd be great. But that being said,
he just wins. He's only lost 2 games since
he's
been a starter.
He's lost to who? Auburn and Clemson. Those are his losses. So, I mean, that's one went to the SEC championship that year. He lost to them, and then the other won the national championship because they beat Alabama. So, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he has a future as an SEC quarterback. Just don't know where. It may not be at Alabama. Speaking of quarterbacks, though, shift gears a little bit more.
Nice little transition.
Yeah, you like my segue?
We're professionals in this show.
Tennessee.
Speak for yourself.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Tennessee, there's a little bit of news coming out in Knoxville that this quarterback job is Keller Christ's to lose. Now, if he ends up winning the starting job, I hate to say I told you guys so, but I told you so. Keller Christ is probably going to be the starter. Now, this is the same guy who was, according to an article that was written in Knoxville, his chances to start were on life support. That was 2 weeks ago. Now he is the favorite in the clubhouse, or the leader in the clubhouse, to win the job. And the reason has to be the guy, one, he knows how to win. He's only lost, I think, 3 games in his career as a starter at Stanford. And the fact David Shaw came out and said this guy has NFL quarterback talent. That's the coach at Stanford.
And David Shaw is a heck of an offensive mind. So if he says that means something.
Yeah. So
but why did he let him leave?
I mean, he didn't have a choice because he was a 5th-year graduate.
Yeah.
He if he wanted to play another year, he had to go somewhere else. Because he used up his eligibility at Stanford. But that being said, I think Keller Christ is a guy that can come in and make you better right away. I'm sick and tired of these coaches coming in and saying we're going to get better. This is year 0. We're going to build for the future. No, I want to win right now. Put the best player on the field that's going to make you win right now. I don't care about next year. I don't care about next year right now. I want to win now. And I think that's the mentality that Jeremy Pruitt has, as opposed to the last 2 coaches that came into Tennessee, and Butch Jones and Derek Dooley, who talked so much about just building. And yeah, it's important to build, but
brick by brick.
Oh God! But if
you just had to say that,
if you build, if you win, guess what? If you win in year 1, guess what's going to be a lot easier to do?
Win in
build.
year 2.
Yeah, building on a good foundation. Shockingly enough, makes you a better house.
Yeah, so I just don't understand, like, why we'll ride with whoever and go 4-8 again. But my God, we got some good players coming in next year. No, win 7 or 8 right now, make me feel good about it, and then go to Jarrett Carantano next year. He's a redshirt sophomore.
Look,
He's
it's
still
the
got 2
difference
years
between a legitimate business and like a pyramid scheme. pyramid scheme is always, look, no, you're going to get your returns later. It's always later. It's always later. Like a legitimate business, you don't go to a restaurant and they go, well, your next meal, that's going to be great. You know, like, no, you want your food to be good the first time you walk in there.
Otherwise, I'm not going to go back.
Yes, that's generally how that works. And it's only, so far as I can tell, college football is the only place where you can just promise things will keep getting better down the road and people go, oh, okay. No, that's not okay. I want to win.
I want to win. We've been bad long enough. It's time to start winning.
I mean, if you swing and you miss, well, then that's one thing. But at least swing.
If we go 4-8 and the best players are playing, then that's one thing. If we go 4-8 and you're building for the future, that crap's unacceptable. And there's too much talent on this team to go 4-8. This team they are not going 4-8 unless everybody gets hurt.
It's definitely an 8-4 or 9-3 team.
If they go 9-3, just seems.
Wait, that is just
9-3 means you have to win every winnable game on your schedule. And
except for Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia.
And
maybe, that's why I said win every winnable game.
And maybe even one or two that aren't. I mean,
that's West Virginia and Florida, and maybe South Carolina is going to be those FE games.
Well, and Missouri. Don't forget to throw Missouri in there. Missouri's not a bad football team. They can score, and Tennessee can't stop nobody. Tennessee had historically a bad defense last year.
That's the thing. What you don't want. Like, we talk about how Missouri's not really good and Vandy's not really good, but there are two things you don't want in the SEC. But there's two things you don't want in the SEC, and Tennessee got caught in both of these. You don't want to be in a shootout in a track meet with Missouri. You don't win those. You just don't. And you don't want to be in a grinding situation with Vandy. The way that Derek Mason coaches those guys, if that is going to be a 6-3 ball game, they win it. You do not want those problems.
Sad part was it was a grind out game, and then Vanderbilt blew it open and ended up scoring 42 points on Tennessee.
And somehow it was a grinding game, and then they just opened the doors. But look, those are the two games you don't want. And
here's a question for you, Nick. Where's Brady Hoke now?
Probably sending text messages in all caps to the Ohio State athletic directors telling him he'll be their coach, because he sent a text message to John Curry that said, I know what it takes to win at Tennessee. I want to be your next head coach. And it was in all caps.
Which is perfect, because Brady Hoke doesn't ever, Brady Hoke can't whisper.
Can we talk about how many idiots Butch Jones had on his staff? Brady Hoke, Bob Shoop.
And Bob's better than what he conveyed as an assistant at Tennessee, though.
Yeah, well,
I'll believe it if he does it at Mississippi State, which
we'll see. But you know what they say, though, the crap rolls downhill. If you have Butch Jones at the top, I mean, look, there aren't many guys looking good there.
Butch Jones had a quarterback coach named Mike Canales, who, before he came to Tennessee to be quarterbacks coach, was the running back coach at North Texas.
Mean Green.
Southland Conference
of North Texas.
Wow.
North Texas.
I
don't even understand. Okay, I don't want to talk about him anymore. So we're gonna move on from that. But I do think it's very important to play your best players. And if Keller Christ is that guy, now there was a tweet from a beat reporter in Knoxville, Dan Harrelson, who said that Keller Christ, it's his job to lose.
Which, I mean, when you see him play, I don't want to say it's self-evident, but he looks really good. He really looks the part. And I think that Tennessee needs something like that. You just to have a quarterback specifically that looks like he can play week in and week out, drive to drive. That's important just because it gives you confidence as a fan. You can tell your fan base, we're going to go somewhere if your quarterback is good.
Yeah, and if your quarterback plays bad. I still think they're both going to play week 1. I really do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they both play week 2 and week 3 against UTEP and ETSU. That would not surprise me. But I think by Florida, you're going to have a solidified guy. But I wouldn't be surprised if Keller Christ is named the starter, unless it completely falls apart week 1. He's going to be the starter all year. And the guy knows how to win. He knows how he doesn't turn the ball over, which is, in my opinion, the most important thing for a quarterback at this level.
Especially in the SEC.
Don't turn the ball over. And if you don't turn the ball over, good things are going to happen. And so I want, from a coaching standpoint, I want every possession to end in a kick. either want it to be a punt, a field goal, or an extra point. I want every possession to end in a kick. And if you have a quarterback who just slings it around all willy-nilly, then it doesn't matter because you're going to have a possession that doesn't end in a kick. And I think that's always very important to make sure that you do that.
And that might be a little bit of the testiness that they have with Garantano, which is, I mean, he's clearly got an arm.
Got a cannon.
But he's got that gunslinger in him. And, you know, do you want that roller coaster?
Not with this team. I mean, if you had a team that was more, I don't know, proven as a winner, then yeah, sure, you can go with a little bit more of a gunslinger type. But with a team that doesn't know how to win, I don't know about that.
Example, Texas Tech and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is fantastic as a gunslinger. I mean, the guy's just got the sensibilities. But the fact of the matter is Texas Tech didn't know how to win, and they lost a lot of games he was great in. I mean, they
had no defense.
They had no defense. So that's also a problem in Tennessee and their problems with the secondary. Like, you don't want a gunslinger giving the other team multiple possessions and multiple cracks.
Especially against West Virginia.
Right. Because
so
they just love to bomb the hell out of you. I mean,
I don't think Pruitt's going to sway away from the game plan. He's more methodical, and I think that, I mean, yeah, he's going to go out there and do everything that he can to win that first week's game because it's huge, but he's going to go with the proven product. And, you know, Garantano will get his time, his chance. May not be initially, but he will.
He will. He definitely will, but he will have to, you know, I thought from the get-go when they went to go get Keller Chris to start this year. Like,
no doubt.
What would the point be to not go get him? And, you know, Jeremy Pruitt watched Jarrett Garantano play. He coached against him. He knows what Jarrett Garantano can do at this point in his career. Keller Chris is, I still think Keller Chris is going to end up being the better option for this team to win this year. And I hate saying in a first year of a head coach saying, hey, I'm ready to win, but I've had enough of this crap for the last 10 years of we'll be better next year. Let's start winning now. I'm not asking you to win a national championship. I'm not even asking you to win 9 and 10 ball games. I'm asking you to make a bowl game. And I don't know if Jarrett Garantano starting at quarterback is going to give you the best opportunity to do that. Because if you don't go 3-1 in these first 4 games, your chances of making a bowl game are
slim to none.
Going to be very tough because November's a lot easier for Tennessee, the schedule. But by God, you don't know who's going to be left to play by the time you get through October. Everybody might be hurt. It might be a mass unit on the sidelines.
There's only 3 games in October, and those are the 3 biggest ones.
Well, you have the last week of September's Georgia. Then you have a week off, and then you play Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. I mean,
the schedule makers really are against Tennessee.
Every year. It's every year. Well, we're 2 weeks away from college football. Next week, we'll spend probably the whole show talking about college football. So join us next Saturday.
Don't forget, no football this afternoon, but NASCAR tonight beginning at 6:30.
Perfect. Well, join us next week. Enjoy the race this evening. This has been the Breakfast Blitz. Nick Leffew, Keon Rose, Sam Jordan. Have a great weekend.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.